Hello everyone, so I'm going to show you a few different tips and tricks and repairs to fix your original PlayStation, or also commonly referred to as the PSX. So one of the most common issues, especially with the open button, is a sticky button. Now it doesn't always close or want to close. This one is somewhat fine, but I can make it better. So people will have the common issue of having to slam down the tray in order to get it to close, and this button will be stuck down, and people will continuously try to close it and it won't close. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. You can also use it for these buttons as well. Also, I will show you a few tips for lasers. Now, you don't always have to repair the laser, or replace it rather. Most commonly, the laser is just a little bit dusty. So first you're going to want to start out and just use a standard Phillips head screwdriver. And now there's six screws, and you're going to want to take each and every one of those out. Sometimes they're a little bit stubborn, and if you're a guy like me who really doesn't have a whole lot of nails, you're going to need something else to take them out with. So there we go. Now, the original PlayStation, again, has a lot of really common issues that, for the most part, are really simple to fix. I don't run across too many original PlayStations that can't be fixed by using these tips. So after you finish removing all the screws from the bottom side, you just take off the top. Now, for the laser, you just want to take a cotton swab, a Q-tip, make sure it's a brand new one, and just either gently rub on the lens with the Q-tip, and that should normally do the trick. You can also use a can of spray air to spray any of the dust or gunk that's on the lens. If you would like, you may use rubbing alcohol as well, but not a whole lot of it, just a very small amount. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side because we don't need it in the way for now. So this is where we're going to get started on this. There's just two screws here for the eject button, and you can use it on any of the other buttons as well if they're sticky. But you remove those two screws, and then once that's done, you take the mechanism. As you can see, I already repaired this, so it's good to go. But I'll show you the process of it. And then there's two little legs here on the open button, and you're going to want to push from the underside, or top side rather, push it down so you can bend these two legs in, and then kind of push it out. So that's the open and close button, and then here's the inside here. Now you can use some cotton swabs and a little bit of rubbing alcohol, and you go ahead and just wet that buddy up completely, and then you're gonna want to clean the inside of here and make sure you do it real good, so there's no dust or debris. Get inside where the legs go at to make sure it's nice and clean in there, and then clean the little hole there as well, and make sure it's dry. And then you can do that on this side as well, but it's not absolutely necessary to do it in here. If you got it from the other side, it should be good. And then you're going to want to clean up any dust or anything from the mechanism here. So you can kind of lift these guys apart a little bit, and then just clean on all the parts where the mechanism is at. So you're going to want to like clean around in this little spot here, and then clean here with some rubbing alcohol, and then just clean along the edges and the spring and everything like that. And then you lift this little flap here and you clean here as well with rubbing alcohol, and then flip around to the other side and clean this whole part here, and then you take the dry side and just take off all the rubbing alcohol. And then you're going to want to get a new cotton swab and use some silicone lubricant. You don't need to use like a ton of lube. It's better if you use like just a good amount of lube. So you're gonna want to follow the same process that you cleaned this with a lube. Just make sure it's, you know, lubed up real good. It doesn't need to be thoroughly lubed to work, but you can go ahead and just lube it up real good and make sure, you know, it's nice and sleek with the lube, and that should be good. Make sure you get all those little parts where you cleaned, make sure they're all lubed up. So that's good. And then you can go ahead and do the same thing on the shell here. Make sure you lube this up real good. I'm gonna grab a little bit more lube. Let's see. And then, you know, lube on the outside, lube on the bottom, lube where the little legs go, and right in the hole there too. And then you're going to want to clean the open button as well. Sometimes there can be some gunk and some funk all up in there, so, you know, just after you clean it, you can use a toothbrush to clean this. It will work better. Sometimes they tend to be really funky with some grime and whatnot. But after you clean it with the toothbrush and some rubbing alcohol, you want to lube it up real good. Again, not like a super whole lot of lube in one spot, but you know, you're gonna want to get all the main parts with a decent amount of lube. So make sure you get this middle part with some lube, and then get the legs, get the little legs with some lube here. And then you're gonna want to do the outer edge of the open button as well. Get some lube on there. And it's important to make sure you use enough lube, but not like too much. You don't want to make it too sticky. You want to make it so it glides very good. And then now that we've finished lubing it up, let's put it back together. So stick the open button back in. And then make sure you do the eject button on there with the mechanism the correct way. If you don't, you'll not be able to open it. Also, with the screws on the mechanism, you don't want to make them too tight. That may cause your console not to open as well. So you want to screw the screws in and use just enough torque to where it feels tight, but don't over tighten it for each screw. And then we grab our console, put the lid back on, and reassemble the shell itself. I'm not going to make you watch every single screw, but just do 2 for now. That way you can see the open close button fully functioning. And I like to test it out like 10 times, you know, just to make sure it will always work. Nice and simple. And you can do that for any one of these buttons. Just make sure you be careful. The open button is the most common, but using just enough lube will get it to always work. And you can do that anytime. It's really simple. So that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope this helps you in the future.